Hello and welcome to a new Google Sheets video in Practical Sheets. Today we continue our help desk system built in Google Sheets and Google Apps Script. To recap the last video, actually what we did was fairly simple. We just connected a Google Forms with a Google Sheets, everything through Google Apps Script. Actually, this may be done much more easily with just a button. Someone in the last video comments correctly stated. But as I explained there, this gives us a flexibility and a much more robust system that if we don't. And I think we're going to see this in this and next videos. What we were able to do is to hard code things like this, like a consecutive requirement code. Of course, we can do this with formulas. And I think it can be a nice exercise to do in the future, to do the same help desk system, but only using formulas, not with Google Apps Script, or maybe with a very light use of Google Apps Script, but more with formulas to see the differences. So I think it could be a nice exercise. But now, today, we continue to see the benefits of doing it this way. What we're going to do today is to continue to include some new fields. For example, I don't like that this is called timestamp. So I will separate the date and the time, and I will call this initial requirement date or initial requirement hour or something like that, or start request date maybe. And then I'm going to add a responsible. Having the area, I could assign a responsible and maybe an email. And then, I don't know if we can do this in this video or in the next, we could send them an email and start the process. So I want to, once someone in my form fills out, then the process starts. And how does the process start? An email may arrive to the responsible in the responsible area, telling them you have received a request. And so now I can start tracking how many days does it take to respond to the request. This would be the next part, everything regarding the response to this request. So we can start. I'm going to add a new column here. We're going to add a bit of zoom, and we're going to call this requirement date. This one requirement hour. Let's go back to our code. If you remember, all of our Google Apps Script code is in the Google Forms and not in the Google Sheets. So I'm going back to my Google Forms. I go here to Script Editor, and if you remember, we have this timestamp that goes to my form response, and with this get timestamp, we can have the actual timestamp. We don't need to do it this way. We could do it with a new date. It's a JavaScript function that lets us access today's date. That's it. But what I need is to separate this in time and hour. So why I do this? To assure that this is a date object. So what I'm going to do is with this date object, we can access a lot of functions or methods for getting the hour, the year, the month, everything. So I'm going to timestamp dot, and here I have my date methods. So I can use these two methods, local date string and local time string. So I'm going to do local date string to get my date, and to local time string to get my hour. And we're going to store this, the first one in a date variable and the second one in a time variable. We can first log them here. First my date, and then my time, or my hour if you prefer. And in my append row, the only thing I'm going to change is that instead of timestamp, I'm going to include date, and after my date, I'm going to include the time. That's it. We can save. Actually never given a title to the project. So I'm going to stand here and name this help desk system so that it's easy to access directly from my Google Apps Script console. Now, given that for this video I made a copy of this two files, I need to make sure that I'm accessing the correct files. So I'm just going to change this ID for this ID here and here. I think that's it. I can save, and again, as this is the first time I run this, I will run first the permissions function, so it can ask me all the permissions I have in this project. Perfect. And again, as I did a copy, and if you remember, the way that we have triggered this add-answer function to work is by manually setting up a trigger so that every time a new form response is sent, everything in here gets executed. So when I do a copy of my files, this manual trigger is erased. So I need to set it up again. So let's go to our triggers, add my trigger to the, we select the add-answer function. We leave these two options as they are. And here in event type, I'm going to select on form submit. I'm going to save. And now I can test my function by sending a test form. Here in my preview, I'm going to send dummy data. Let's submit. Let's go to our help desk system part 2, and here I have them. I have the requirement date and the requirement hour separated. So this is good. Now, I want a responsible from the area. So what I can do is have a separate list here. We could call them lists, or we could call it areas, however you prefer. You can have it separated. This is your choice. So we're going to have an area tab where we have the possible areas and the responsibles of each area or department. So let's paste this, and here we'll have some responsibles. I think I have courses, refund, subscription, and technical. So I could add here the responsible. I could do this by a formula, and I think it would work. But here we are flexing our Google Apps Script muscles to see all the possibilities that we have with this tool. So let's do it inside the code. What we're going to do inside our code is to access this tab, and depending on the selected area, it's like a VLOOKUP, but in the code. Depending on the chosen area, we could select the responsible. So let's go back to our code. We've already connected to our spreadsheet, but now we're going to connect with this area sheet. So I've already connected to my requirement sheet. So just to separate them, I'm going to rename this symbol. Let's call it requirement sheet. And you can see that as we rename the symbol, it changed it automatically everywhere it was called. And now we're going to have another sheet that is the area sheet. That is the same as this one. ws.getSheetByName, but it's not requirement, but areas. We're going to access this information with the getDataRange method. So here we go to areas sheet dot getDataRange. What getDataRange does is it selects all of our table without having to specify an ending column or an ending row. Then we're going to select the get values option so that we make sure that this returns an array. Let's call this area data. Given that we need to do a VLOOKUP, what we are going to do is we're going to extract this column as an array, and then we're going to look for the current area or the area of this requirement to know what is the row, and then with the row we can know which is the responsible. So we do this with a map function. So areas data dot map, And we're going to say, okay, for each row, I want you to return the first column of each row. That is this name or this area. Then we're going to assign it to this other variable called areas list. And now that we have it cleaned up in just a list, we could look for the current area, this area that we already have. So we can do areas list dot index of, and we're going to look for area. What this returns is an index, a number that starts with 0. If it had found it here, this is the header, so I could skip this, but it doesn't matter. So this would be the 0 index, this would be the 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So I need to add it 1 to know which is the row. So we can call this variable row, and it would be the index that this returns plus 1, given that the index starts with 0. Finally, once we have the row, we can go to the second column to look for the responsible. So we can say that the responsible will be, I'm going to go to my area sheet and go to the getRange method. And the range I need is, for example, if I selected technical, would be the row number 3 and column number 2. So in this case, row will be this row variable, and the column will be number 2. Finally, we're going to add this responsible to my append row. Let's see if this works. Let's save, and let's submit another response. So in subscriptions, it should give me Anne as a responsible. So let's see if it does it. Submit, and something is missing. And the thing that is missing is that here, when I did areas sheet getRange, I forgot to finish it with getValue. Now we save, and let's submit another response. Again in subscriptions, and so here you can see that we already have Anne. I have a problem here, so I'm going to delete all this, actually everything, and start again. And let's do another area. This technical, that should be Sebastian. And I think I broke something, because the requirement code, if you remember, what it did was look for the latest number in the code column. But as I added a new column, now the requirement column is not number 2, but number 3. So let's see here. You see, I looked for the code in the column number 2, but actually is number 3, and also here. Let's save, and I'm going to delete this again and add another one. Let's submit. Now it's working. Now that I have my responsible, I could also add the responsible email in the same manner. So I can have here an email. Let's add it here. I'm going to use alias, so it's easy for me to track down the emails. If you don't know what an alias is, you can tell me and we can do a separate simple video explaining it. And let's change it here. So as I got my responsible, I can also get the email in the same way. Here I have responsible that is in the row I found, but in the column 2, and the email will just be the same, but in the column 3. And here below, I'm going to say email, and that's it. Let's save. And here, let's add our new email column. I had 2 mistakes. The first one is that I repeated the email variable. and this will be a conflict, so I need to separate it. And the second is that I left the responsible variable repeated also. So the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to change this email symbol with the rename symbol function, and let's call this customer email. And the second thing I'm going to do is in this responsible, I'm going to change this for responsible email, and below here I'm going to change this also for responsible email. Let's save this, let's submit again. Now it works. I have my date, my hour, my requirement code, my email, my area, my requirement, my responsible, and my email. So that's it. Again, I think we're going at a very slow pace, but I think we're building a very robust system. What we can do in the next video is to send an email to this responsible and maybe also an email to the customer. In the responsible email, I can tell him that you need to respond or something like that. And in the customer email, we can tell them that we successfully received the requirement and that we're going to start to process it. That's it. I hope I'm not going too slow. And as I told you at the beginning, almost everything we did here, we can do it without code, just with formulas. So if you want me to do it, I can do it also without Google Apps Script to see the differences. For those of you who don't like to mess a lot with Google Apps Script, we can do this in another way, and both ways are valid with their pros and their cons. As always, you can find the templates to this and all my videos in the Patreon page. And if you like this video, please subscribe and hit the notifications button. I have at least one video each week. Thank you so much. See you next time.